Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another live stream. Big up yourselves on a brand new week, a brand new Monday. I hope we're all doing very well. I hope we're all good. Let me know where you're watching from today. Let me know what you're up to today. Let me know what you're up to this week and all of that good stuff. But of course, we're here to talk football. So, of course, talk football with me as well, you beautiful people. We're here to talk Liverpool, here to talk the performance and the result yesterday against Nottingham Forest. We're here to talk about certain individuals. We're here to look ahead to, of course, Liverpool's big week ahead. Another big week for Liverpool, another big game on the horizon, of course, as we continue in our pursuit towards Champions League football for next year. So we've got a lot to talk about, but of course, if there's any other footballing topics that you want to discuss, you want to talk about, maybe you want to talk about the North London derby yesterday, maybe you want to talk about Arsenal, maybe you want to talk about Tottenham, City from the weekend, or whoever else, then let me know in the chat, of course. As always, this is more so your show than mine, of course, as always. I always bring topics to the table, but of course, if you have any other discussion points that you want to talk about, feel free to get involved in the chat, or if you're just popping in, say hi. That is also very much appreciated as well. As always, with these videos and live streams, make sure you are hitting the like button for me, please, you beautiful, beautiful people, and hitting the subscribe button if you're new. Both things are always and forever be greatly appreciated. As always, really do appreciate the love and support on the channel, as always. And without further ado, we're going to get on with things, shall we? We are going to get on with things, and we're going to start with a recap of yesterday's big win over Nottingham Forest. A huge smash and grab victory as far as what I personally am concerned. I don't know about you guys. I don't know if you guys feel the same way. But it was a massive smash and grab from where I was standing and from my viewpoint, especially from the first half, which was awful. Was awful as far as what Liverpool were concerned. I have seen a lot of terrible football from Liverpool this year. And the first half in yesterday's game was probably the worst. And I don't know. I just found it incredible the way that we set up from the start. It was almost like the Florian Wirtz injury sort of caught the team completely cold, especially Curtis Jones. I think it was probably wrong to leave it half an hour, to leave Curtis Jones in the centre rather than moving Szoboszlai there. Szoboszlai at right back, yeah, he's good enough to play in most positions. Yes, he's good enough, and he'll give you a 7 out of 10 everywhere on the pitch. But we need him in the midfield. If Florian Wirtz isn't going to be there, we definitely need him in midfield. And I think even now, I think Curtis Jones, if you're not going to trust in Joe Gomez's fitness, if you're not going to trust in Calvin Ramsey, who's a more natural choice in that right back position, Curtis Jones then needs to be our more permanent right back, and Szoboszlai needs to move back into midfield, because it just worked a little better when that was the case in comparison to how he started up the game, where Jones was taking up the Wirtz position and Szoboszlai was still maintained at right back. Obviously, it was a blow to begin with. Horrible to a horrible start to obviously lose Florian Wirtz in the warm up to the game. But you have to deal with those. Those things happen all the time. Those things happen all the time, and you have to deal with it. And we didn't quite deal with it yesterday. And you could tell in the way that we set up, we didn't deal with it yesterday. Like I say, it took us half an hour to obviously adapt to the whole Jones and Szoboszlai situation. And it took us a long time to realize that well, we didn't even realise it, but our build-up play suffered as a result of that because our midfield couldn't pass the ball from A to B. No one could pass the ball from A to B yesterday, especially in that first half. But our build-up play is so slow, so boring, so predictable, and so sideways. It's the same thing all the time. Our build-up play is knock the ball out to either Cody Gakpo on the left or Mo Salah on the right and hope that they do something. And very rarely they can do because Cody Gakpo is useless and Mo Salah is constantly isolated. It's no surprise that when he's got Jeremy Frimpong down that right-hand side, Salah looks somewhat better. And it's no surprise that when he's got players around him, he looks better because he's got players that he can use as distractions, use to play off, use as however he sees fit to obviously progress the ball and be basically Mo Salah. He was poor yesterday when he did have the ball, Salah. There's no doubt in my mind about it. But every time we got the ball out to him, there was very little he could do with it other than run at a defender. And we know that now he's a year older from where he was last year. We know that now teams are doubling up, tripling up on him. He can't really run at the defenders like he used to much anymore. Maybe every once in a while he can get past one man here or there or whatever the case may be. But every single time he got the ball yesterday, it was like he was being isolated. And it was like he had nothing on. And that's basically the long and the short of it. It's basically hit the ball to Salah, hope he does something, hit the ball to Gakpo. Maybe once in a blue moon, he'll actually get a shot on target because all he does is cut inside. And every time he does play the ball down the line, by the way, every time he does use the overlap, the pass is never really good enough to either like a Kirkez or an Ekatike. It was just abysmal to watch yesterday. We saw a midfield pivot of Elliot Anderson and Ibrahima Sangare dominate the midfield yesterday. Elliot Anderson, I rate highly, by the way. I like Elliot. I liked Elliot Anderson when he was at Newcastle. I rated him at Newcastle. I said, this guy is going to be a very, very good player. And so far, he is turning out to be that way and maybe even better. I rate Elliot Anderson a lot. I've seen him a lot at Forest over the past couple of years. I think he is a very, very good footballer. We saw yesterday that a Nottingham Forest side, who actually played in midweek on Thursday, came to the match fully prepared, fully knowing what they were doing, and they dominated. And it stemmed from that midfield battle being won. Sangare, Anderson, they were on it from the start. What we saw as the game wore on was maybe that fatigue from Thursday night creep in. It was maybe the extra minutes in the legs of those players start to creep in. And Liverpool were able to grow back into the game from there. Not by much, because we were still pretty poor in the second half as well. The only reason why it looks better than it did in the first half is because, well, it couldn't have got any worse. But we actually did look better in the second half by comparing it to our first half performance. We grew into the game, and it was because Forest allowed us to. Forest press wasn't as intense as what it was, or as physical as what it was in the second half compared to the first half. We were allowed to grow back into the game. Forest did have their opportunities. They did have their chances still. Sangare drilled one just past the post. It was very, very close to going in, that one. They also had a couple of dangerous opportunities and moments towards the end of the game, especially, that the Forest crowd tried to rally behind and tried to get Forest to grab a late goal. And then, of course, Liverpool hung in there. And to say that we're obviously the defending Premier League champions, to say that we spent £500 million just to hang in there against Forest, who are 17th in a relegation battle. And I think, let's be honest, are probably in very, very, very big danger of going down this season. That's not good enough. It's not good enough. The performance wasn't good enough. Players are not good enough. Manager's not good enough. Everything about the game yesterday was just not good enough. Obviously, like I said, there were a few performers on the pitch who were very good. There were a few performers on the pitch, not many, by the way, only one or two, but there were a couple of performers on the pitch yesterday who I thought did very well. But like I say, it wasn't good enough yesterday. You would have thought that we were the team that had the midweek game and we were tired going into this one. And you would have thought that, Forest weren't the relegation battling team and we were. It was just that poor yesterday. It really, really was. But in the end, we stuck with it. We got the victory. We got the win. The McAllister first goal, as harsh as what it is, it's the right call to make. The laws state if the ball directly goes into the back of the net from a player's arm or hand being used, no matter how unintentional that the case is, it's to be ruled out. It's harsh. It's stupid, especially because if a player was to block the ball with the same part of the arm on the goal line from going in directly, it probably would not result in, the player being sent off or the player giving away a penalty or whatever the case may be. So it doesn't make any sense in that regard, but it is somewhat the right call to make. Then, of course, the second controversial, shall we say, VAR check. Look, I've seen the image and I've seen the semi-automated technology image. The initial image from the naked eye, it looks like it's offside. But you can't obviously see the Forest defender behind Van Dijk. There is also a second Liverpool player who is offside, but he's deemed not to be interfering with play. Again, if he isn't interfering with play, then therefore it should be okay because he's not made any attempt to play the ball. And I don't think he's really being marked by any Forest player. I know it's awkward and I know it's tricky and I know that you can make comparisons even as far back as, say, the Van Dijk goal with Andy Robertson against Manchester City, but it did seem like it was the right call to make. It did seem like he was onside, only just by literally a toe was he onside. But McAllister, again, right place, right time. And Liverpool get away with it. 1-0. McAllister, the difference maker. McAllister, the hero. A massive, massive 3 points in the pursuit of top four, top five Champions League places for next season, especially capitalizing on Chelsea dropping points on Saturday, putting pressure on Manchester United, who go away to the Hill Dickinson Stadium tonight against Everton. That will be a massive game, I'm sure. So it's a big one. It's a big victory. It's a big 3 points, and especially against a team that we know has been a thorn in our side for however many years they've been in the Premier League now. Liverpool genuinely struggle for one reason or another against Forest. and always have done since they've returned to the top flight division in English football. So it's a massive win. It is a massive, massive win. I'm happy with the result. I am not so happy with the performance. The performance was, simply put, atrocious. But we got the result, and that's somewhat all that matters. Somewhat all that matters. Not the be all and end all, but if you're going to tell me that if we get to the end of the season, we can get Champions League football, we may have an opportunity adding silverware like an FA Cup or a Champions League, but Arne Slot is definitely going to be leaving at the end of the season to accommodate for a more suitable and more methodical kind of manager, then I'm all for it. But there's a lack of transparency right now at this football club. I don't know what the hell's going on. I don't know what the plan is for going into next season. What the squad's going to look like. What the manager is going to, or who the manager is going to be. I don't genuinely have any of those answers, but we shall see. Big up Marco is in the building. I hope you're well, my bro. Hope you're doing well on this Monday morning. He says Frank Tudor did the same thing, or Thomas Frank absolutely glazing Arsenal, calling them the best team in the world. You just can't do that to your fans, nor I actually hope Spurs he gets sacked. I will say that Spurs got hard done by yesterday. The second goal that Kolo Muani scored, in my opinion, should have been allowed to stand. In my opinion, that goal should have been allowed to stand. Like, Gabriel is not getting to that cross. He has basically worked out that he is misjudged the flight of the cross. He is underneath it when it flies way over his head, and he feels the slightest minimalist contact on his back, and he throws himself forward and he flops like a fish out of water. I think Spurs got hard done, but I think if that game goes to 2-2, I think it could potentially be a different game because nerves start creeping in. Arsenal have been pegged back again in the game. I think it was very, very harsh on Spurs to disallow that goal yesterday. I think that could have been a very different goal, different game. I think it was also harsh because I think Gabriel definitely should have been penalised in the first half. And you could potentially look at it as a potential dog show moment, last man from Gabriel kind of thing. I think that Arsenal got very, very lucky yesterday on at least two big accounts, two big talking points, two big moments. Overall, I thought they did deserve the win, and I was expecting them to win because it's Spurs. And it just goes to prove that it doesn't matter what manager Spurs bring in, these players are not good enough. Spurs played most of the game yesterday with 8 or 9 men behind the ball at the vast majority of times, and yet Arsenal still carved them open like a knife through butter. This is the worst Spurs team that I have seen potentially in my lifetime. It doesn't matter what manager you bring in, nothing is going to change. It's awful. It genuinely is awful right now at Spurs. Like, no banter, nothing along those lines. I'm not trying to be hyperbolic or anything like that. It genuinely is awful at Spurs right now. They have got a Frankenstein team that has been put together by 3 or 4 different people, whether they be managers, whether they be sporting directors, whatever the case may be. 3 or 4 different ideas being thrown into a team, and it comes out looking like it is right now. I mean, it was awful yesterday from Spurs. Absolutely awful from them. Like, they were terrible. They were genuinely terrible. Arsenal weren't much better, by the way. I don't think Arsenal played amazing. Arsenal just created enough more opportunities, took their chances. I don't think Arsenal were amazing. I think if Arsenal were against a more competent, disciplined side, I kind of feel like maybe it would have been more of a game. It would have been more of a contest. But the only reason why Tottenham were allowed to be in the game was because Declan Rice had a poor game yesterday. Declan Rice was shocking yesterday. He could have gave away a second goal in the second half. Richarlison with a little flick almost crept over the goal line. But Spurs are just awful. Spurs need to rip the entire team out and start again. There's only probably about 5, maybe 6 players I would keep in that Spurs team. And even then, they're probably the ones that you wouldn't trust because of injury. There's like only 5 or 6 players that, for the most part, I would keep at Spurs. Everybody else could probably just be sold, just get rid of by any means necessary. That club needs ripping out and starting again. Absolutely atrocious from Spurs yesterday. Big up Jamie, who says, "Can we pray, please, and thank you." I mean, we're going to need it if we're in this top 4 battle. But yeah, big up yourself. Hope you're doing well. Lovely to have you here with us. Big up Dean, who's in the building. Lovely to have you here, bro. I hope you're doing well. He says, "Hi, Fletch. This feels like a defeat, mate." A little bit. Obviously, it's not in the grand scheme of things because obviously, you know, we got the win. We got the 3 points. So, you know, overall, the result is what matters. But performance-wise, yes. It wasn't great. It really, really wasn't great. Like I say, our build-up play is give it to Gakpo, give it to Salah, and hope they do something. 2 wingers who don't take on their man. 1 winger who is incredibly predictable and does the same thing 95% of the time, which is just basically cut in on his right foot and have a shot. And another winger who basically gets doubled up on, tripled up on at times. And if he hasn't got the support around him, can't take on his man anyway. Like, if he's not got the support around him to play off, if he's not got runners in behind, if he's not got someone on the overlap to kind of take a defender away, if he's not got someone to play off on the inside, he's got nothing. The guy, Salah's got nothing to work off. Everything else, like, there was nothing through the middle for us yesterday. Gravenberch was so incredibly slow yesterday. Curtis Jones was poor in the middle. So when Szoboszlai moved in there, it was like he was having to do the job of 3 different midfielders. McAllister, apart from the goal, I don't think added a lot to the game. Kirkaz was okay. I think our only best players yesterday was Alisson, who kept us in the game, and Van Dijk. Konate was very good, to be fair. Konate was very good, but Van Dijk yesterday was back to his best. But again, it says a lot that we win the game, and our best player on the pitch, at least from the start, was Van Dijk, because our best attacking player on the pitch was a kid who came on with 15 minutes to go and did more in those 15 minutes than our attacking line combined. I'm not going to go too hard on Ekitike. I think Ekitike probably should have. Ekitike should have scored the chance that he was given for the McAllister first goal. I've watched it back since. He should have stuck that ball away. Ekatike should have scored right off the bat in that chance. Ngumoha puts in a delightful cross, and Ekatike should be scoring that goal, right? I get that. He needs to work on his heading. He needs to work on his heading. That guy's heading is not good at all, right? He should be scoring that chance. However, I'm not going to go too mad at the overall performance of Ekatike yesterday because we didn't give him anything. We didn't give him any support. We only gave him that pretty much one opportunity and he failed to take it. I'm not going to go too mad at that because nothing was given to him. I think he may have tried to do a little too much at times when he actually did have the ball at his feet. Sometimes he did try and, maybe take on one extra player that he shouldn't have done. Maybe he should have passed it or moved the ball on at certain times. I'm not going to go too mad at the guy, though. We gave him nothing. We didn't give him a lot to go off of. No supply, no chances. There was very little as far as what Ekatike could have done more that we didn't give him the platform to play off of. It wasn't great. It was not great at all. So I'm not going to go too in on the performance of Ekatike. I think he should have done better for the. I think he should have scored himself for the goal. The great cross from Ngumoha. I'm not going to go too hard on the guy though. I'm not going to go too hard on him. But yeah, otherwise no one really can hold their heads up after that, except from those three players as I mentioned. The Liverpool performance really worrying me. I don't feel proud of this football club, and it hurts me to think it. You want to know what was strange yesterday? What was strange yesterday was like, it wasn't even that we went back to type yesterday. Like, we played poorly after a few weeks of actually putting in some okay to decent performances. But it wasn't like yesterday we did the same thing that we usually do, which is play the ball from the right back to the centre back to the goalkeeper to the other centre back to the other centre back to the right back to the goalkeeper to the centre back to the left back to the other centre back, whatever the case may be. It wasn't like we did that yesterday that really sort of upset us and made us play poorly. We just weren't good enough. We were just slow. We were just lethargic. It was almost like we turned up and were like either fearful of the opposition, fearful of the occasion, or just so lackluster that we thought we'd actually just turn up and win right off the bat. I mean, it was so strange as well because yesterday, I'm just going through the stats. We actually ended up with 53% possession yesterday. I don't know how that happened. I know obviously we had more possession in the second half, but we just didn't do anything with it. First off, we actually had 41% possession, which against Nottingham Forest is dreadful. That's absolutely dreadful. But we had 0.07 XG. 0.07 XG. We only had 2 shots on goal. We had the header from Ngumoha and a shot from, was it Gakpo that was blocked? I think it was a block from a Gakpo shot. So overall, we had 10 shots on goal yesterday. Now, it says that we created 4 big chances. I'm struggling to work out what those clear-cut chances were. There was obviously the Curtis Jones one. There was... I think they counted... No. Yeah, there was the Curtis Jones one in the second half. There was Ekatike's before the goal got ruled out, of course. Van Dijk's, that sort of somewhat set up the goal. I'm struggling to work out what the fourth one was. I guess it probably was the goal itself, wouldn't it? I guess it would be the goal itself. Either way, still not good enough. That's still not good enough. 10 shots in compared to their 18. If we were against a more competent team at finishing, we wouldn't have even had an opportunity to go into injury time and still come out as winners. Like, Forest properly messed up yesterday. And it was just because they didn't take their chances. They just did not take their chances, their opportunities when they came to them. And they paid the price. They paid the consequence for it. And Liverpool get away with it. But you can guarantee that if we're against a team that's got better finishers up front, we ain't getting away with it again. And that's why, like you say, we need to book up our ideas, improve our performances. Because, like I say, we've actually had a few decent performances over the past few weeks. Even when we lost to Man City, that second half performance was decent. We just, in a similar vein to Forest, we just didn't take our chances that afternoon. Forest did the same thing and paid the price. We did the same thing that day, paid the price. But we definitely need better. We need bigger. We need better. We need to improve. And it's just not working. It's just not working. You know what the weird thing is about it? For the most part, I can obviously criticize our build-up play. I can criticize certain aspects of how we played yesterday. I can criticize lack of patterns. I can criticize a midfield that looks so open. I can criticize a midfield that, did not stamp their authority on the game until the Forest team were wiltering away. I can criticize our setup. I can criticize little things here and there. But for the most part yesterday, it's on the players. It's not even necessarily on the manager completely. I can criticize certain things from the manager, but it's most on the players. They couldn't pass from A to B yesterday. The amount of wayward passes, under-hit passes, over-hit passes, it was unbelievable. It was like I was watching a kids game yesterday from us. It was like I was watching a kids game where the passing was just so off. It was like, what am I watching? What am I seeing here? It was so bad. It was so bad. And like I say, our only saving grace yesterday was the fact that Forest could not take their opportunities and chances when they came to them. That's the only saving grace yesterday. It was atrocious. Gryffindors says that Liverpool are fucking shite. Thank you for being here, bro. I appreciate the comment. I'd like it more if you elaborated, but fair enough. Big up Vincent, who's in the building. Lovely to have you here with us, my friend. He says that I believe they caught us out by not playing a low block. I believe Gomez should come on earlier. Gakpo, Salah, and Jones must have make way earlier for the subs. You'll never walk alone, is what Vincent says here. I somewhat agree, but that should have really played into our hands. That should have really played into our hands, and that's why it's kind of annoying that obviously Florian Wirtz wasn't there yesterday, because I feel like he would have gave us something through the center that Jones lacked, Gravenberch lacked, McAllister lacked. He would have gave us something yesterday. That's why I'm so annoyed that obviously he got injured in the warm up. It was like the one player that, well, one of maybe two or three players that you did not want going down in the warm up. You know, it wasn't very good in terms of that aspect. And again, you are 100% correct. The subs should have came on earlier. What minute did Aina get booked? What minute did Aina get booked? I can't remember. I want to say it was around about the hour mark, but I could be wrong. Yeah, it was about the hour mark. When Aina got booked for that incredible drag of Ekatike, for that incredible shirt pull, I was literally screaming at my TV, put Ngumoha on right now. I was screaming at my TV, put Ngumoha on right now. Force them back, play him on the left, play him up against Aina, and have him take on his man. Because Gakpo isn't going to do it. Gakpo's not going to take on his man. Lo and behold, the one time that one of our wingers actually took on their man, they created an opportunity for our centre forward. Who would have thought it? Who would have thought it? Who would have thought that that would have actually happened? The one time one of our wingers took on their man, they created an opportunity for our centre forward. Vincent, you are 100% correct, bro. The sub should have happened much earlier than what they did. Gakpo, Salah, Jones, awful on the day. Like, I kind of feel sorry a little bit for Jones because he probably wasn't aware of the situation, and he was kind of thrown into the deep end a little bit. But you've always got to be ready. You've always got to be ready at this level. And Jones simply wasn't. Jones simply was not ready to be thrown in at the pretty much last minute for Florian Wirtz's injury. But the high line, like you say, well, the higher line than what we were expecting, that should have played into our hands more. But we just did not exploit it. Our passing was wayward. It was off. We didn't have any build-up play yesterday. And like I say, our only seemingly plan, as it has been for most of this season, has basically been hope Salah does something. That's our plan all season. Hope. Our plan is hope. Our plan is fingers crossed, pray, and hope that Salah does something. It's atrocious. It really, really is. And like I say, our attackers didn't do anything until the final 15 minutes, where a kid decided to take the game by the scruff of the neck and attempt to win it for us, or attempt to do something to win it for us. A kid who I have been raving about all season, and I have been screaming to see him get more of an opportunity, more of a chance. He deserves it. He deserves it. More Ngumoha, please, as we'll get on to a little later. We don't play with any intensity like a Klopp Liverpool team would. You're right. You're right. We're so lackluster. When we have the ball, we are so lackluster. Like, it's not it is very rarely fast moving. It's very rarely penetrative. It's very rarely that we get an opportunity to move the ball quick, play some exciting, great football. It's not like it was last season. Last season, for the most part, was fun to watch. Last season, for the most part, it was very quick. It was very, very fast, incisive. We could spring defense into attack very quickly. Our counter-attacking measures were sharp. We don't have that anymore. We don't really have that. I know we won. Big up Kinsman. Hope you're doing well, my bro. It says I know we won, but I would say that our team in that game was not good at all. You're 100% correct, bro. 100% correct. Performance-wise, it was atrocious. It was atrocious performance-wise. The amount of times that almost score in the game was insane. We have Alisson to thank for saving us. We have Van Dijk to thank for saving us. I thought those two were very, very good yesterday. We allowed Forest to create 18 opportunities against us. 18 opportunities. And like I say, if they had better finishing, they probably would have taken those chances at some point. But luckily, unfortunately, their finishing was as off as our performance was. That is the saving grace for us yesterday. I don't know. We got away with it. We got away with it. I thought a draw may have been the fairer of the results. But then again, I think there's been, and you know, it always balances itself out to some extent in terms of there's probably been times this season where we've deserved to get a draw and we've lost this season. I can't think of too many times because we've actually been beaten the way that, you know, we should have been beaten. But yeah, it's just one of those things, isn't it? It's just one of those things. It's such a weird game, isn't it? It's such a weird game to analyze because we're so happy that we got the 3 points. It's a massive 3 points to put towards Champions League qualification, but it almost feels like we just didn't deserve it. So it kind of feels a bit awkward, but you know, big 3 points. Big ol' Abdul is in the building. Hope you're doing well, my bro. Lovely to have you here with us. It says, hi, Captain Fletch and the chat. How are you? Smash the likes and subscribe. You'll never walk alone. Big ol' Abdul. Hope you're doing well, my bro. I'm good. Thank you, my dude. And yeah, as he says, you beautiful people, make sure you are hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. All the support, all the love is greatly appreciated. Big up to each and every single one of you that's already here on this Monday morning. Can't thank you enough for being here. Lovely to have you on board with us. And it's been a good chat so far. Nottingham Forest 0, Liverpool 1, McAllister. We were very lucky and the game was boring and poor performance. You'll never walk alone. Again, if you want to sum it up in a nutshell, bro, that is exactly how I would probably how I'd probably say it. It was very lucky on Liverpool's part. The performance wasn't great, but in the end, Liverpool managed to hang in there by some way, somehow, and get the victory in the end. Like I say, the first disallowed goal, right to be disallowed, as harsh as it may be. The second goal, again, McAllister, right place at the right time to win us the game. Yeah, it was an interesting one to say the least, bro. To say the least. Blessing and greetings to everyone. Blessing and greetings to you, bro. Lovely that you're here with us. So we have to talk Rio Ngumoha. We have to talk about Rio Ngumoha. This kid who yesterday came on and played with no fear and played very, very well. I was a little surprised that he was playing on the right-hand side. I would have thought we would have put him on the left. But you know what? It worked out very well because he created a couple of opportunities. He came on the pitch and he actually did something that no one else was willing to do. Get their foot on the ball and actually run at the Forest players, take on the Forest players and try and move the play up the pitch for Liverpool. I want to see that more. I want to see that more because no one else is doing it. No one else is doing that. No one else is getting the ball to their feet and going, I can take on my man here. No one else is doing it. Not our wingers, not our midfielders, no one. And we need that because teams are expecting us now just to pass, just to pass, just to pass. And if our passing is as off as what it was yesterday, we're not going to get anywhere. We need someone like Ngumoha to take on their man. I mean, I don't get it. I really, really don't get it how we can have this absolute gem on our hands, this absolute potential superstar in Rio Ngumoha. I don't get how we can have him on our hands. He comes in, he makes these cameo appearances, and for the most part, he does really, really well. And yet, we sit there and we go, thanks for your contribution, but we're going to stick with a player who hasn't been performing all season, puts in the same low standard performance every single time, plays poorly every single time, makes the same mistakes every single game, does the same maneuvers, same things every single game, and expects different results. How on God's earth is Ngumoha still behind Gakpo? Salah, I somewhat understand because I wouldn't really say Ngumoha was a right winger. I know he played there yesterday, but I still don't think Ngumoha was a right winger. I like the change yesterday because I don't think Forest were expecting it. So to go with a more traditional winger, shall we say, right-footed player on the right was, I think, somewhat different, and I think it caught them off guard a little bit. And I like that he's got that versatility to his game, if that is the case. But I want to see more of Ngumoha. And I've said it all season, and I'm sick of sounding like a broken record on these streams because eventually I do go into old territory and I do start saying some of the stuff that I've been saying all season. Like, I've been saying about performances. I've been saying about certain players' roles. I've been saying about this, about that, about the other. Sound like a broken record at times, but this is something that I am standing firm on. He needs more playing time. He needs more opportunities. He needs more time, more experience to develop as a player. We have got an absolute gem on our hands, in my personal opinion. Someone who looks neat, he looks tidy. It looks like he's got a good eye for goal. If you take, obviously, the goal that he scored against Newcastle all those months ago into account. Decent cross on him as well. Like the cross he created yesterday was perfect, pretty much, for Ekitike. This guy deserves more of a chance and more of an opportunity to develop. And people will say, oh, he's only 17. So what? Gakpo's 25 and he plays like he's a 17-year-old. Like, if you're good enough, it doesn't matter how old you are. And right now, this kid He's very, very good. He's very, very good. I rate him so much. I rate him so, so much. And the worst case scenario of all this, the worst case scenario, if you want to go down that route, is that we give this kid a chance to perform week in, week out, and all he does is perform the same level as what Gakpo does. I don't think he will. I think he will be head and shoulders above Gakpo in terms of his performances. But that's the worst case scenario, is that he will basically come on and do the same things that Gakpo does, put on the same level of performances that Gakpo does. That is the worst case scenario for Rio Ngumoha. That's the worst case scenario. He can't do any worse than what Gakpo does. He can't do anything that outmatches Gakpo's contribution in a negative way, because I don't think the bar can be lowered anymore. This kid needs a chance. This kid needs a chance. Because at the moment, he's taking these cameo appearances and he's smashing them out of the park. Every game he basically performs in, he changes the game. He makes players second guess themselves. He makes players think, oh, who's this kid? And they pretty much underestimate him. He does something that none of our wingers do in terms of take on their man. He will take on their man. He's got skill. He's got flair. He's got trickery. He's got a bit of pace about him as well. All of those things that both Salah and Gakpo lack. And when you've got a team yesterday, as Vincent said earlier, that were playing slightly different to how we were usually used to seeing them, bit more assertive, bit more on the front foot, and you've got a player that wants to run at their man, get in behind, do all of that kind of stuff, it's someone that we need, because teams don't fear us as what they used to. They don't fear us as what they used to, because they know how we set up. We've become so predictable now, which is why teams settle in a bit more of a low block, because they know that if they soak up the pressure, they can counter-attack us. If we have someone like Ngumoha, his dribbling, his technical ability, it opens up so many more opportunities for us. This is why he needs to play more, because Gakpo's not going to do that. Gakpo looks very clumsy when he's got the ball at his feet. And Gakpo does the same thing over and over again when he's got the ball at his feet, which is move the ball onto his right foot and then either do one of two things. 9 times out of 10, he has a shot that flies into Rosette. On the odd occasion, he actually uses the overlap. He plays the overlap in, but he plays the overlap to a point where he overhits the pass and the left back's having to really struggle to get there. And if he does, he can't put in a good enough cross because the ball is already probably out of play. That's the problem we have. This kid can't do any worse than what we are seeing right now from our wingers. Anything, he can do more and he can do it better. I really don't understand what more this kid needs to do. And this is what I hate. And this goes back to the whole Salah thing several months ago. This goes back to the whole Salah thing months ago. You can sit there and drop Mo Salah, and that's fine. But if you're going to set that precedent that bad performances mean you're going to be punished by being dropped, Gakpo should have been dropped a long time ago. The only time Gakpo's been dropped this season has been when he was injured. That's the only time Gakpo's been dropped this season. Ironically, we actually won 3 games in a row when Gakpo was dropped. That's the only time he was dropped this season. And even then, I can still imagine Slot basically trying to do everything in his power to get him back to full fitness. He was probably hoping and praying and, trying to look for magical medicine and potions and all kind of sorts to make him actually play for that weekend. For whatever reason, this Gakpo kid has either got he genuinely either is Arnie Slot's adopted child, or Gakpo's got some sort of blackmail on him or something to play every single week. How he's basically the first name on the team sheet is absolutely beyond me. And this is horrible because there's no incentive. There's no incentive for Gakpo to get any better. I think I mentioned this last week or the week before. There is no incentive for Cody Gakpo to improve his performances whilst he knows that there is no consequence for having a bad performance and a bad game. There's no incentive for him because he's not going to get dropped. He's like, well, there's a 17-year-old in my position. He ain't going to play because Slot doesn't trust him for whatever reason, even though he should. He should trust him more. Again, doesn't matter about your age. If you're good enough to play, you're good enough to play. Look at Lamine Yamal at Barcelona. Look at the way that he's gone from strength to strength, even at his young age. Even when he first broke onto the scene as like a 16-year-old kid. The guy was given the opportunity to run with the ball, and boy, did he run with that ball, both literally and figuratively. Look at Esteval for Chelsea. I think he's injured right now, but look at Esteval for Chelsea. That guy is awesome. That guy has got a big future ahead of him. Ngumoha could have the same. But whilst this manager does not trust in him, and whilst this manager continues to pursue with Cody frigging Gakpo as a player who is standing in his way of obtaining regular first team minutes. I'm not saying he should play every game. I'm not saying he should play 90 minutes every game. I'm saying that he should get more opportunities and more minutes than the 10, 15 minutes at most that he gets every single week. He should get more. It's not fair that a player in Cody Gakpo's position is having to play second fiddle to him, even though Gakpo is putting stinker after stinker after stinker in every single week. It's not fair. Because it sets the precedent that Gakpo can play terrible, but he's in the team every week. Oh, but Salah, even though you've had years and years of carrying this team on your back, nah. As soon as you have a bad game, you're out. It's just not good enough, and it needs to improve, and it needs to be more. It needs to be better managed. It needs to be better managed, this whole situation. He needs to get more minutes. He needs to get more experience, and we will be better off in the long run because of it. We will be better off in the long run because of it. We miss Luis Diaz. We should have never sold him. That's hindsight, bro. That's hindsight. Luis Diaz did not. I know he's doing well for Bayern right now, but Luis Diaz did not perform to that level consistently enough for Liverpool. That's the problem. That's hindsight. Now, if you're comparing him to maybe Gakpo, maybe we should have actually given Gakpo to Bayern. I think there could be a case for that. But he obviously wanted to move. He reportedly wanted to move the summer before. So, again, good luck to him. But it is what it is. Rio is the only shining light. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. Abdul says Arne Slot is the adopted golden child stepson, which lives so much for him to play. Like I say, he might be. It's something along them lines, or like I say, maybe Gakpo's got some dirt or something over Slot, and he's blackmailing him with it to play every week. I don't know what it is, but either way, like, there are players that can play in Gakpo's position. Even if you don't trust Ngumoha, even if you do not trust Ngumoha, there are still other players that can play left wing. Soboslai can play there. Ekatike can play there. Wirtz can play there. Chiesa can play there. You know, there are other players that can play in Gakpo's position. There are other players that can play in Gakpo's position other than Ngumoha. You don't have to play Gakpo each and every single week. And I think the rest will do Gakpo some good. I think the rest will do him some good. I think taking time out of the first team will do him some good. And you can bleed him in eventually later on down the line if you want to. I admit, like, I've seen Gakpo perform well. Last season, Gakpo was pretty good for certain parts of last season. Even at the very beginning of this season, for the opening 3 or 4 games, whatever it was, Gakpo was actually okay. He was actually doing all right for the first 3 or 4 games of the season. He was actually one of our better performing players during that run of underwhelming victories. But since then, it's all dropped off. It's all dropped off, and he's not had a good... I can't remember the last good game he had. I genuinely... Maybe there's something I'm missing. Maybe there's a game I'm missing or a performance that I'm missing that stands out, that's obvious. But can honestly anybody tell me when was the last time Cody Gakpo had a good performance? And I'm not just saying like a goal or an assist. I'm not saying like a goal or an assist to masquerade what was overall a poor performance. I'm talking about good overall contribution. Doesn't have to even be a goal or an assist. It could just be that he created about 4 different opportunities that weren't taken, you know, or something along them lines, or he had a couple of shots on goal that were brilliantly saved by the goalkeeper, even though the goalkeeper had no right to make them saves. Linking up play really well, helping the team out defensively as well as going forward. I'm not just talking about goals and assists that can masquerade what is a good performance. I'm talking about the overall package. I'm talking about, were you helping and contributing to the team defensively as well as offensively? Were you linking up play? Were you causing terror for your opposition player that was up against you? You know, I don't remember the last time that I saw Gakpo have that kind of level of performance. I really, really don't. Maybe there is a game or a performance that I'm misremembering. I don't remember it, though. I don't remember when the last time he had a good performance. It's eluding me. And again, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I genuinely am wrong. I don't remember. I really, really don't remember. Big up Leo's in the building. Lovely to have you here, bro. I hope you're doing well. Long time no see. I think. My memory's terrible. I can't remember. Were you here last week? I feel like you were here last week. I don't remember. Did I even stream? I did stream last week, didn't I? Twice. Ah, my memory is terrible. I'm getting older. My memory is already this awful. In about 10 years' time, it's going to be even worse. I swear. Ah, I'm so bad. Anyway, big up yourself, Lee. Hope you're doing well, my bro. Lovely to have you here with us. So, yes, Liverpool get away with it yesterday. Big win, but a shockingly bad performance. Rio Ngumoha needs to play more. Needs to play more. Like, again, I don't get it. There's no there's nothing else to it. I don't understand. There's nothing else to it. He deserves to play more. He should play more. I don't get this whole thing of not trusting him, not playing him. It's so weird to me. It's so weird to me. He just does everything that our current wingers don't. I rate that versatility and difference about him. Big up captain, big up bro, big up Gerson who's in the building. Lovely to have you here with us. Slot said at the round table the other day, playing good football is worth than winning trophies. We must say worse. I think it's worse than winning trophies. But what we saw yesterday was a horror show. Liverpool playing a low block. I'm okay with playing a low block if you can counter-attack well. I'm okay with playing a low block to draw out your opponent if you can hit them on the counter-attack. The problem is that Liverpool were playing a low block, but were not counter-attacking well. So it made it pointless. It made it completely pointless. That was the problem. Like I say, our best performances this season have been when we've dropped a few yards defensively and we've counter-attacked teams. Look at our Champions League performances. When we've done that, we've been very, very good. I'm happy to play that way because I think it suits us down to the ground more so than this holding possession BS that we attempt to do. But we didn't do it yesterday because we couldn't pass the ball. The amount of times that I saw overhit pass, underhit pass, wayward pass, it was so common in our game yesterday that it was like, why are we playing this way? What is the point of playing this way? We're not doing anything when we get the ball. So what's the point? I don't mind playing a lower block. I don't mind dropping a few yards. But we don't do anything with the ball. If we move the ball quick, if we actually pass the ball from A to B, if we could actually, move it between the lines and stuff, we'd actually be all right. But instead, all we do is we just pass it around at the back and then we hoof it. We mess around with it at the back. We go from Szoboszlai or Jones to Van Dijk to Kerkez to Alisson to Konate to Van Dijk, Van Dijk to Konate, Konate to Szoboszlai inside to McAllister back to the goalkeeper to Van Dijk, and then Van Dijk gets it out of his feet onto his right foot and just attempts to go long to Salah. And Salah will control the ball, get the ball down, or he'll lose a physical battle against two players. But even if Salah does get the ball down, he's got no help around him. So he tries this little thing where he moves inside a little bit and he's looking for like Ekatike or he's looking to switch the play to Gakpo. The pass isn't on. So he just tries to go himself and loses the ball anyway. Either way, we hit the ball long to Salah all the time. We don't counter. We don't move the ball quick enough. And Salah just loses the ball. And people go, oh, Salah's having a bad game. It's like, well, what do you want him to do in that situation? You know, he's not prime Lionel Messi. He's not going to like juggle the ball over the opponent's head, run around 6 different players, and then stick the ball into the back of the net. He can't do it all on his own. But I don't know. I genuinely don't know. It's so weird to me. I think we have West Ham next, and I would start Rio. Why isn't there anybody at this football club that knows that the performances are crap and not good enough? Tell me about it, bro. Tell me about it. I would start West Ham. I would start Rio at West Ham because simply for the reason that, again, West Ham are probably going to sit there low block. It's Nuno Espirito Santo. So they are going to sit there. They're going to low block. They're going to look to counter attack. They're going to use the likes of Jared Bowen and Somerville to hurt us on the counter. Fine, fair enough. That's how they're going to play. They're going to want us to have as much of the ball as possible. And we've got to be prepared for that, because if I can see that from the outside looking in, they definitely should be able to see that happening. So, fine, fair enough. But we have to obviously be better in terms of we need to actually pass the ball to each other. That would be a good start, wouldn't it? And that would actually be a very good start. But I would start Ngumoha simply for the reason that if they are going to sit there in a low block, we need something different. We need something that is going to be fast, penetrative, something that can get in behind if they do allow us to have a bit of space. And not only that as well, but if he gets the ball at his feet, he can take on his man. And I would love to see a battle between Ngumoha and, is it Wan-Bissaka they got on that right-hand side? I'd love to see that battle. I would love to see that battle on that right/left-hand side. So I think you're right. I would start Ngumoha on against West Ham, but I just know Arne Slot is not going to do that. I just know that Gakpo's already first name on the team sheet, nailed on, and I just know that Gakpo right now has got his name on that team sheet for West Ham. Even without a week's worth of training, even without a ball being kicked, I just know for a fact that is going to happen. I also think we've got problems in other areas as well. I think Gravenberch needs to be taken out of the midfield. I like Gravenberch, but I think over the past couple of years, he's played way too much football, and I think it's starting to slowly catch up with him. I think he needs to be taken out of the midfield right now. Simple as that, really. Simple as that. I think he just needs to be taken out of the midfield, but he won't be. Again, that won't happen, but I think it needs to happen. Again, play more Chiesa. Free Federico Chiesa. And stop playing Szoboszlai at right back. Szoboszlai needs to play in the midfield where he belongs. Abdul says that everyone was shocking yesterday. Rio was good when he came on and Maka tried his best. Rio was our best attacking player yesterday. And he only got 15 minutes. He only got 15 minutes to play. Says all you need to know, doesn't it? It says all you need to know about our attacking options right now and about this young kid. He only had 15 minutes of play yesterday. That is it. That is all. But it is what it is in that regard. We couldn't keep the ball and also pass the ball more than 2 passes. You're 100% correct, especially that first half. That first half was absolutely dross. It was absolutely shocking, that first half performance. Our midfield was getting bullied by Anderson, Gibbs-White, and Sangare. Completely agree. And look, I like Elliot Anderson. And Gibbs-White, I think in a on the ball sense is good. I think off the ball he can be a bit rash, but Gibbs-White on the ball is a very good midfielder. Sangare, I've never been really convinced by, but yesterday we made him look so much better than what he is. They dominated, like you said. They dominated, they bullied, they were physical, they were smart, they were intelligent, they moved the ball on very, very well. They were very good in that first half. And like I say, they could have been out of sight. If their finishing had been better, they could have been out of sight. I mean, Callum Hudson-Odoi got in behind our defence within the opening, 3 or 4 minutes of the game. They had opportunities after that. Anderson dragged one just wide of the post. They had opportunities. They definitely did, Forest. And if they had a more clinical edge to their attacking play, they would have hurt us yesterday. Why is our best midfielder, Szoboszlai, playing in at right back? Because Joe Gomez's fitness issues are a problem. Slot doesn't trust our more natural choice right back in Calvin Ramsey. And for whatever reason, he's fallen out with Curtis Jones these past few weeks. And I don't know why. I really, really don't get it. I don't know. I know it's been a problem for us. I know right back's been a problem in terms of getting people to be fit there and whatever, but you've got a natural choice right back that you're choosing not to use by your own accord. Fine, but don't sacrifice our best midfielder to fit that position. Don't sacrifice our best midfielder, our best player of the season, to fit that position. He can play there. Fantastic. Szoboszlai's pretty much played every position this season other than goalkeeper. He pretty much has played every position other than goalkeeper this year. But don't sacrifice him constantly and consistently in that position just to accommodate for the fact that our covering right back and his fitness issues are never going to resolve themselves. Don't accommodate for him just because you don't trust in the most natural choice right back that is fit and available at the football club. And don't accommodate for it because you've had some sort of petty argument, seemingly, with someone who, again, is not a natural choice right back, but at least has played there on a few occasions that he knows and understands the role a little better than what other players do. Guy needs his head testing. Seriously does. Liverpool's next 5 games: West Ham, as Dean mentioned, Wolves in the Premier League, FA Cup, of course, against Wolves as well. Then Spurs, Brighton. I understand top 4 isn't a trophy, but this is the only thing we have to get in the Premier League. Man United versus Everton, obviously, tonight. Yeah, 5 winnable, well, FA Cup aside for just a second, 4 winnable Premier League games. West Ham, we obviously know they're battling at the bottom of the table, but they're no pushovers, and we should not be going into that game thinking that that's going to be an easy win. But at the same time, it is favourable. Wolves, I mean, I don't know the mathematics behind it, but I think Wolves could pretty much be relegated very soon. I don't know. Let me just double check the mathematics of it, because It's not looking good. um, yeah, if just, I mean, in 2 games' time, Wolves could be relegated. They really, really could be relegated in 2 games' time. That Liverpool game, we could actually send Wolves down at that point. That's how bad it could be for them. That could be the moment that they actually do go down. Spurs. The Spurs game is the only game I'm confident with. How weird is that? The Spurs game is the only game I'm actually confident with. And we've got a run that's facing rock bottom of the table Wolves, and I'm still more confident in the Spurs game. That's weird. Brighton can be hit or miss. Brighton, we know, can be hit or miss. We know that Brighton can turn up, but we also know that they can be very inconsistent as well. So Brighton could be hit or miss. West Ham and Wolves should be 6 points, but you never know. And Spurs, like I say, I'm more confident in Spurs in any of the other fixtures. And that is really saying something and saying it weirdly, because we're facing two proper relegation candidates in West Ham and Wolves. Wolves are pretty much down. West Ham, I think they will just about survive West Ham. Just about. But it ain't going to be pretty and it ain't going to be convincing. But I think they will. It was embarrassing. We were throwing ball into the box by Joe Gomez. Desperate times mean desperate measures. I do find it kind of ironic that a lot of people that have had a problem with set pieces, a lot of people that have had problems with long throw-ins, corners, free kicks, long ball, that kind of thing, slot in particular, are now resorting to, well, if you can't beat it, join it, kind of thing. It was interesting to see Joe Gomez with long throws yesterday, as he has done for most of this season. But like I say, the fact that we're now using it to try and get to our advantage, it's just interesting to see, especially because, like I say, Slot had such a problem with it at the beginning of the season. Slot had a problem with set pieces. Slot had a problem with all these other things. And now, miraculously, we're trying to use it to our own advantage. And we've actually done better from set pieces. I will say that since we sacked that set piece coach, we've actually done better from set pieces. So I don't know what that set piece coach was doing. I don't know what that old set piece coach was doing, but since we've sacked him, we've actually done better from them. So I don't know. I don't know what was going on with that guy. But yeah, I mean, everybody's at it now. Everybody's at it with set pieces and long throws and stuff like that. Everybody's at it now. They have a problem with it, but they will gladly do it. And like Slot all season has been moaning about, oh, teams do this against us and teams do that against us, and it's not fair, and it's not fair, it's not fair. And it's like, I don't have any way of combating this. I don't know how to fix these problems. And it's like, well, you're the manager, bro. You're the head coach. What do you mean you've got no idea how to fix these problems? He's appalling. We have 2 goalkeepers on the bench. It is embarrassing. Yeah, I mean, our injuries have been somewhat unfortunate this season, but that's still no excuse. We're not using injuries as an excuse as to why we're poor. There's bigger problems than that. Of course there is. But when you see 2 goalkeepers on a bench, yes. It's not good. This should never, unless you've got a bench that it consists of like 20 players, unless you've got a 20-player bench or something ridiculous like that, there should never be more than one goalkeeper. It's mad to think. It is so hard to make any sense about our situation. 100% agree, bro. 100%. It's so weirdly topsy-turvy and like pretty much bipolar every week, isn't it? Every week we're here and we're like, good performance, good result. Bad performance, bad result. And now it's like, good win, good result, bad performance. Sometimes on a very rare occasion, it's good performance, bad result. Very rare though. Big up Ballum who's in the building. Lovely to have you here, bro. Hope you're doing well on this Monday morning. Lovely to have you here with us, my bro. Hope you're doing good. We finally win away at Nottingham Forest. We seem to lose to them often. They have been a thorn in our side. Since returning to the Premier League, they have genuinely been a thorn in our side. We'll give them that. Do you think Arsenal will bottle it? I want to say yes. I don't know. I will say this, though. This weekend was the only weekend that, since switching my opinion from Liverpool winning the league to Arsenal, I've actually considered Manchester City. I watched them against Newcastle, and yes, City weren't amazing, but it was a proper Champions win. They got a bit fortunate. With certain decisions and certain things that happened. But for the most part, yes. That was the first time this weekend that I've actually considered City could actually win the title this year. Will they do it? I'm not so sure. I'm not so confident. I still think by some way, somehow, Arsenal will probably cheese it. But yeah, I don't know. This is the first weekend where I actually considered City to win it. And it's mainly down to the fact that performance against Newcastle was dug in so deep that everybody could see how much it meant to them. That win. The Arsenal win, as good as what it was, and obviously as good as what the Arsenal win was to bounce back from what happened midweek against Wolves, it was against Tottenham. Like, we know the situation with Tottenham. I'm not even. Yeah, I'm not putting too much stock in that result because it's Spurs. And the weird thing, the only weird thing is that Spurs took points off of Man City a few short weeks ago and then lost to Arsenal. They've helped Arsenal to still maintain top spot right now. But at the same time, in saying that, good result for both Arsenal and City at the weekend. I think it's more so for City, considering that they had the harder game. And you just saw what it meant to those players at the end. Like, a massive win. And Haaland, by the way, didn't score, assisted, but didn't score. But his defensive contributions in that game from Erling Haaland were insane. They were very, very good. Something that doesn't really get noted in his game or in games like it. The contributions that your big players make in the defensive areas. He was outstanding in that game, I thought. Was Calvin Ramsey on the bench yesterday? He won't play, unfortunately. I don't even know. I think he got a cameo appearance against Brighton. He must have been on the bench. He must have been, but I don't remember off the top of my head. Freddie Woodman, homegrown player. Yes, he is. Is World Cup? In World Cup, do they have many players on the bench? I think they're allowed their entire squad on the bench. I think they're allowed the entire rest of their squad on the bench at the World Cup. I'm not so sure. I think that's obviously barring suspensions and injuries and stuff. Yes. I'm good. I'm glad you're okay, my bro. I'm glad you're okay. Do you see a dip in Salah's performances because Ramadan? You aren't the food nutrition person. I mean, I can't necessarily comment on that kind of stuff. But what I will say is that I'm noticing a dip in Salah's performances all year round, and to my knowledge, Ramadan isn't a isn't something that's been around all year. So, yeah. I don't know. His performances have just dropped this season. A lot to look into on that. Should Liverpool fans expect a dip in Salah because of Ramadan? I mean, if it does get any worse, bro, it's not going to be great, is it? Not going to be great. I don't know. Because I'm sure there are players that have gone through this and have actually improved. I'm sure there are players that have gone through this and been the same or whatever the case. I'm sure Salah himself has probably had some good performances during this time period. So we shall see. We shall see how it affects him, how it affects players that are also partaking in it. We shall see. Good win because Chelsea drew to Burnley. We capitalised big time on Chelsea's draw, and obviously we put a bit of extra pressure on Manchester United tonight against Everton. Score predictions for Everton versus Man United, people. I've gone with a United win. I can just see it being a United win. I think Everton at home have found it a bit awkward to bed into their new stadium. At the same time, though, Everton do kind of turn up for these games against Man United. There does seem to be a bit of history there of Everton making life a little difficult for Manchester United. So, yeah, it's the whole Liverpool-Manchester thing again. But I'm intrigued. I'll be watching tonight. And I'll be intrigued as to what Everton can potentially do. Everton could potentially help us tonight. I doubt it, but I'm going with a 2-1 win for United. Obviously, I hope that United drop points to help our case. Of course I do. But I think I went 2-1 in my predictions, and I think I'm standing by that prediction. I think Arsenal result against Spurs will kickstart them off again, sadly. They've got some tough fixtures coming up, Arsenal. That's the only thing I will say about Arsenal. They've got some tough fixtures coming up. They've got Chelsea at the weekend. They've got Chelsea at the weekend. Then they face Brighton away, which has notoriously been a little tricky to navigate in the past few years for Mikel Arteta. They then have Everton away. Everton at home. After the FA Cup against Mansfield. How the hell did they get Mansfield? Like, honestly, their FA Cup run has been so easy so far. Their FA Cup run has been so incredibly easy. They had like Portsmouth in the third round. Then they faced Wigan, and now they've got Mansfield. Like, so unbelievably easy and fortunate. They face Everton at home, like I mentioned. And then, of course, they have the Carabao Cup against Man City. But then once the Carabao Cup's over, they've got Bournemouth. They've got that massive game against Man City away from home. Then they face Newcastle at the Emirates. then Fulham, then West Ham away, Burnley at home on the penultimate game of the season, and then on the final game of the season, they face Crystal Palace. So I'm expecting it to be tricky against Chelsea at the weekend. I'm expecting it to be tricky against Brighton. It could be tricky against Everton, but you never know which Everton side's going to turn up. Bournemouth could be tricky, depending on what Bournemouth and where Bournemouth are at that point in the season. City obviously is City, we know that. Newcastle are going to be fighting for some form of European football, so at least they'll have an incentive to go out there and make it difficult for Arsenal. Fulham has always been tricky for Arsenal. It's never a foregone conclusion when Arsenal face Fulham. The only saving grace might be that Fulham might not have anything to play for realistically when that time comes around. We'll have to see how they do in the league till that point, because Fulham could just be mid-table, not really pulling up any trees going up, or obviously too safe to go down. So that one could be interesting depending on where Fulham are at. West Ham, relegation battling, could already be down at that point realistically, but could also be just about steering clear of relegation, or at least battling for Premier League survival. So that one's not exactly a foregone conclusion either. And then, of course, Burnley, they'll already be gone by then. That will be easy for Arsenal. And Palace, who are not entirely safe right now, but you would imagine are probably done enough to steer clear of relegation. So they probably won't be playing for a lot either. So they'll be fine. Big up John Doe, who's in the building. He says, I can't understand a word you're saying over that thick Scouse accent. Very good, very good. Salah was taken off yesterday, hence question. Yeah, I mean, that's something I will applaud Slot for. He actually shown some balls yesterday. Not many managers would have taken off Mo Salah, regardless of how poorly or how well he is playing. And yesterday wasn't exactly a vintage Mo Salah performance. And so it was only right that he was taken off. Now, most managers would keep him on because they probably know that 89 of 90 minutes could go by and Salah could do nothing and be anonymous. But in that 90th minute, it could all change in an instant. Slot shown some courage yesterday by taking off Salah and putting on Chiesa, putting on Ngumoha. He had to do that earlier, in my opinion, but he eventually did it. And of course, it paid off because Ngumoha helped create a good opportunity for Ekatike, so on and so forth. That was a big, big call. Big, big call. I'll applaud him for it. I'll give him credit for it. But it needs to happen a little bit more regularly. Not just Salah, but Gakpo as well, and Gravenberch, and whoever else is not playing poorly, not playing well. It needs to happen a bit more regularly for me. So we shall see. We shall see. I'm glad Liverpool finally won against Nottingham Forest. We don't do well against them. Yeah, we really don't. I mean, the only one I remember, I think we won 3-0 last season or the season before. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was last season. I remember I was winning 3-0 against them. That's the only time I remember us doing really, really well against them. I think there was also one where we won 1-0 and it was like 99th minute Darwin Núñez. I think if I remember correctly. Other than that, yeah, we really don't do well against them. We really, really don't. And even if we do win, it's very rare that the performances are good. Like I say, that 3-0 might have been our best performance against them. Otherwise, we genuinely don't do well. I think first season that we played them, I know obviously Callum Hudson-Odoi against Slot. I remember Taiwo Awoniyi against Klopp. Overall, though, yeah, we really don't do well against Forest at all. Everton 2, Man United 2 is what Dean is going for here. Interesting. Goals galore. I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting battle tonight. It's going to be a very interesting battle between those two teams tonight. And I'm looking forward to actually watching the game and seeing it unfold. Especially if it's like how it was last time, by the way. You remember what happened last time? Everton went down to 10 men in like the opening 15 minutes or so. Idrissa Gueye attacked his own player. Went down to 10 men. Everton seemingly dead and buried. And then Ruben Amorim decided, no, I'm going to stick with my 5 at the back and allow Everton to go into the lead. And then Everton went on and won 1-0. Incredible. I had to go. Sorry, I couldn't stay for too long. Talk soon. Crystal Palace in South East London away at Arsenal, I must add. Big up yourself, bro. Always happy to talk to you, even if it is for a brief moment or two. Lovely to have you here with us, Ballum. Big up yourself. Hope you do well. I hope you're doing well, my bro, and I hope you have a good rest of your day as well, my friend. Yeah. So that's the bottom line of it. Liverpool didn't play well. Managed to get a massive 3 points. Rio Ngumoha needs to play more. Hopefully, we see him more against West Ham this weekend. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. It needs to happen, though. It needs to happen. Needs to happen. But we shall see. What time is the... is it a 3 o'clock game on Saturday? Oh, there's a Friday game this week. Wolves Aston Villa. Yeah, it's a 3 o'clock Saturday game. Why is it 3 o'clock Saturday? Bournemouth Sunderland 12:30. Can't wait for that. Liverpool West Ham, Newcastle Everton, Burnley Brentford, Leeds Man City. That should be interesting. Brighton Forest on Sunday, Fulham Tottenham on Sunday, Man United Crystal Palace on Sunday, and then of course Arsenal Chelsea. Then we've got some midweek games, obviously because it's FA Cup, isn't it? The week after. So then we've got the midweek games. Everton Burnley, Bournemouth Brentford, Leeds Sunderland, Wolves Liverpool, Brighton Arsenal, Man City Forest, Fulham West Ham, Villa Chelsea, Newcastle Man United, and then Thursday Tottenham Palace. Interesting. Big couple of weeks ahead for everyone concerned. What's your prediction for the Liverpool West Ham game? This early, I mean, it could obviously change by the time I put out my predictions video. But this early, I'm backing Liverpool to win. I'm going right now. I'm going 2-1 Liverpool. But of course, things could change by then. There could be, our entire squad could be wiped out because of injury or whatever. And, there could be a possibility that by the West Ham game, maybe they've perfected cloning and maybe Slot's decided to clone 11 Cody Gakpos to play in every position. I don't know. Yeah. I'm not saying it's going to be a foregone conclusion against West Ham because I've been here too many times to ever take any game for granted. I'm not going to say it's going to be easy. I'm not going to say it's going to be a given. I'm not going to say that Liverpool getting 3 points is going to be a guarantee this weekend. I'm not saying any of that because, like I say, I've been here too many times and I've been left embarrassed this season alone. So what I will say is that it should be a win. It should be 3 points. But I don't know what Liverpool team is going to turn up. I don't know what Liverpool team will turn up. Is it going to be the Liverpool team that was so comfortable against the likes of Real Madrid, against the likes of Aston Villa, against the likes of Brighton in the FA Cup? Is it going to be that kind of team that turns up next week? Or is it going to be the team that has struggled? The team that struggled against Forest, the team that was so poor against the likes of Crystal Palace, Chelsea, Man United. I don't know. I don't know what Liverpool team is going to turn up. And that's the worrying thing for me, is that the inconsistency and the threat of poor performances really worry me, because, like I say, it's not been great. It's not been great, and it's only going to get. I don't even know how it's going to get, because, like I say, they are so unpredictable. They're weirdly predictable, but unpredictable at the same time. They're weirdly unpredictable, predictable. It's so weird. Like, on the pitch, we look predictable. You know what we're going to do, but at the same time, it's how we execute it. And right now, we're not executing it very well. So I don't even know. I really don't even know. It's so weird. Bowen will be a handful. He will. He's in good form. Somerville's in good form. Somerville is in very good form for West Ham. He is someone that we have to look out for as well. He is in very, very good form for West Ham right now. So he is someone that we have to look out for. It's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be a very, very interesting one, to say the least. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it later on in the week. We're going to wrap it up there, guys. Thank you all so much for watching, for listening, for taking time out of your busy schedules to hear the ramblings of this guy. Do me a massive favor, you beautiful, beautiful people. Hit the like button on the way out if you enjoy the video. Subscribe if you are new or want to see more content like this. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated from you wonderful people. And yes, leave your thoughts, your comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, in what will be now the comment section down below for those of you that are obviously watching on playback. And thank you all so much for watching and listening, as always. Thank you, Fletch, says Dean. No, thank you, bro. Thank you. Like I say, this is these shows are just as much the viewers' shows as they are my shows, and obviously, it helps having an audience. It definitely helps having an audience. It definitely helps audience participation. Always a pleasure to have you all here and to talk football and to talk about your lives or whatever it may be. Get to know you a bit more. All of that good stuff. It's always good to have you here and always good to chat with you wonderful people. Gakpo is his favourite child. He never had and cherished him so much. Salah not being good as well. Definitely got some problems in those wide areas that need to be addressed. 100%, Abdul, you are right. Bye, everyone. Yeah, thank you, like I say, all so much for watching, for listening. Do all of that good stuff, you wonderful people. The liking, the subscribing, the commenting, all of that good stuff. Very much appreciated from each and every single one of you. Like I say, the love and support the channel's been receiving has been nothing short of absolutely amazing. So I cannot thank you enough from me. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks live stream. And I should see and speak with you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your day. Speak to you all again very, very soon.